Greetings, citizens of the motherfucking YouTubes. LordClydeofOMAR here, coming at you loud and fucking proud, and all the other catchy little greetings. Now, it has come to my attention that some of my friends over at the network have made the acquaintance of this dude right here. Now, in my last video about the PWNZ, or as I like to call him, TheFaggShangi, I mentioned that he would most likely continue making videos about me, and indeed he has. I believe he has made a total of 6 videos that have been at least partially directed towards yours truly since he's come back. Of course, this is based purely on what I've been told, seeing as how I've only actually watched the 2 most recent. The rest I never really saw any reason to bother with. I mean, this guy pretty much tells me everything I need to know in his titles and descriptions, so why the hell would I waste my time watching Beavis and Butthead's fat Canadian gay love child sit there and spout off shit like, "Oh, that laughter's so fake, you look like you're about to cry, eh?" I mean, obviously the guy's full of shit, and you know, what am I gonna do, correct him? I think secular numinist has probably at this point come to recognize the asinine nature of doing so, seeing as how no matter what you say to him, the TheFaggShangi will just sit there and continue to insist upon his own warped intuition. I mean, it's not like I really give a shit about any of the things he's saying about me. I mean, I thought I'd made this pretty clear with my last video, where instead of actually addressing his so-called points against me, I just pointed and laughed at his fail-tastic little mini loose change video and told him what a fucking retard he was, fully expecting a video response, and eventually I got one. 4 fucking months after the fact. It was a video called LordClydeofOMAR, the boy who cried because I pwned him, or something to that effect. And now, a video with the title like that really does nothing but further justify the approach taken in the very video it was responding to, because it just proves that this guy is so ridiculously full of himself that his ego literally won't allow him to accept and come to terms with the fact that I was fucking laughing at him. It's as if when he clicked on my video, his mind blocked out the actual video and replaced it with a completely different video to preserve his own psyche. So while everyone else saw this, like, listen to this. Clyde's a fucking bitch, Clyde's a fucking loser, Clyde's a fucking crybaby. Oh, by the way, did you know 9/11 was an inside job? Shangi saw something like this.
TJ, leave me alone, please.
The guy is completely detached from reality, ladies and gentlemen, and quite simply put, there is no argument to be had with a guy who watches a person literally laugh in his face and continue to insist that he pwn that person. Oh no, you do not argue with a person like that. You fucking publicly humiliate a person like that. That is essentially what I did with my last video to the TheFaggShangi, which is why I said I wouldn't be making any more videos to him, but you know, I took a look at that video and thought, truth chart or not, this guy does so much more to make a complete ass of himself on a regular basis while remaining totally oblivious to it. I think I could do better. And that's exactly what I intend to do with this video, so I suggest y'all get comfy, because we are scorching the fucking earth with this one, bitches. So before I begin, I should probably explain to everyone just why I decided to start referring to the PWNZ as the TheFaggShangi. And the reason is because I, for one, think it is very much within the realm of possibility that he is a deeply repressed gay man. For one, he definitely seems to have one hell of a man crush on me, considering how obsessed he's been ever since I started giving a little fucker the cold shoulder. I mean, first he makes a response video to me, one of his top priorities upon getting his internet back after 4 fucking months. And really, Patrick, what the hell took you so long anyway? I mean, I know you lost your home internet connection, but I also know that you did sign in periodically during those 4 months. So obviously you had some means of getting online. Why didn't you just record the video at home and take it to wherever you were signing in from? It's called a flash drive, you fucktard. They're not expensive. Now, I'll bet you must have spent every damn day of those 4 fucking months like Elmer Fudd going, "Oh, I'm gonna get that squirry wood, Clyde, oh!" More recently, however, this guy did his own little Q&A video where he actually titled it "Long-Awaited Answers from Shangi" and had some chick that he referred to as his question bitch read the questions. Yeah, sound familiar? I mean, if this guy doesn't have a homo crush on me, then you'd almost think he kind of wanted to be me in some fucked up way. Next thing you know, he'll start wearing metal t-shirts and videos, grow a goatee, put on a pair of round-rimmed sunglasses.
I was thinking, like, what would be easier if if I just like got a knife, cut you open, and, like got inside of you, and actually became you.
Hey, it's possible. However, I tend to lean more towards the former possibility given this little nugget of insight.
Well, it's true, I wouldn't touch your Gray's cock.
One thing I definitely know for sure, however, is that it must have really frustrated this guy to no end that he didn't get the negative response from me that he was looking for after his 4th fucking vid. Because after that, he went and tried to seek it elsewhere by making this little video defending Von Helton.
Don't you think you're being a little hard on Von Helton? If somebody came on my blog TV that was offering to show me pictures of their boobies, I'd be like, hell yeah, I don't give a fuck if she's 15.
So what did he do next? Well, he followed it up with a video called Feeding the Trolls, where he was on a Skype call going, oh look, they think I'm being serious, LOL. Yeah, this coming from the same motherfucker who got his fucking panties in a twist over me joking about someone pulling a Captain No Awesome on Roske, and that type of thing is pretty typical of the TheFaggShangi. I mean, even the Von Helton thing wasn't enough for him. He clearly desires my attention more than anything, which is why he finally worked up the balls to post this comment on my latest video, which is on my backup channel. Let's face it, the maker of this vid hasn't even been with a woman, LOL. I know, right? Like, who hasn't gotten that comment a million fucking times? It is interesting, though, because I went and checked his activity stream and found that he had made this comment right here on Christy O'Misty's video talking about having the same shit done to him and implying that even he thinks that type of shit is fucking petty and stupid a mere hour before commenting on my video, and once again giving us all the insight we need about just what type of guy he really is. So just what type of guy is the TheFaggShangi? Well, simply put, he's basically your typical one-way-eyed, self-victimizing men's rights activist. Now, for those of you who don't know what a men's rights activist is, picture someone parroting the stand-up comedy routines of Bill Burr and attempting to pass them off as serious political and social commentary, and you'll get the basic gist of it. Now, there was a time when Patrick specialized in making men's rights activist-themed videos, but unfortunately, most of those have been lost because, as has recently been demonstrated, the TheFaggShangi can't hold a channel to save his fucking life. However, YouTube is far from the only place on the internet where Patrick has spouted off his fail-tastic brand of MRA rhetoric. There is one particular forum called antimisandry.com where Patrick just so happens to be a well-established member, a status he has achieved by embedding his videos and making posts such as this one. Here we can see Patrick bragging about a comment he made to a guy in the comments section of a Sun News article. The guy Roger that he was responding to writes, "Yep, there is no doubt that the same situation applied to different sexes will see a man get dealt with more severely compared to a woman. Now, do we want to list all of the areas of male privilege in the Western world? One idiotic judge is one idiotic judge. Let's not pretend like white guys in Canada are generally behind the 8 ball wherever you look. They're still beating and killing their wives at intolerable rates. I look forward to the day that the Sun publishes an editorial railing on that subject." To which Shangi responds, "Unsurprisingly, as soon as a man touches on an obvious truth as Mr. Adler has done in this column, morons like Mr. Roger come out to spew their feminist BS. Now, do we want to list the areas of male privilege in the Western world? Are you kidding me? Women are the most coddled group in North America. Everyone is always so concerned with women's rights, but no one gives a damn about men's rights. Women are just as guilty of domestic violence as men are, yet there are no shelters for men. Women kill their husbands and their children, yet they are treated less severely than their male counterparts. Women overall serve less time in prison than a man would for committing the same crimes." Well, you know, that's all fine and dandy, Patrick. Well, no, it actually isn't. But it is interesting, however, that you basically just went evil fucking Knievel right over that guy's actual points and started menstruating all over him with shit like, "There are no men's shelters because nobody cares about men, blah blah blah." Like that has anything to do with what the guy was talking about. I mean, men do indeed beat and murder their wives at rather high rates, like the man said, which is why the women's shelters got built in the first place. But you are correct, there are no men's shelters. But you know, I wonder, has anyone ever thought to start a men's shelter in his own house? Because that is, from what I understand, how the women's shelters got started before they started getting government funding and all that fun shit. And you've got your own place, don't you, Patrick? So why don't you start your own men's shelter? Sure, get all the deadbeat losers in your area to come stay with you. Because unless you actually intend to start or become involved with some kind of project like that, then honestly, you really have no business complaining about how nobody gives a shit about male victims of domestic violence, because you are obviously no exception. You say that women are just as guilty of domestic violence as men are, and while this is somewhat true in a kinda, sorta, not really kinda way, you go on to talk about it as though they were committing the same crimes, which is fucking retarded. There are many different kinds of domestic violence, Patty, and according to Statistics Canada, in your country, the overall ratio between male and female perpetrators of domestic abuse is about the same overall. However, this study that I'm looking at right here goes on to state the following on the very next page. Similar to previous GSS victimization cycles, females continue to report more serious forms of spousal violence than males. For example, in 2009, females who reported spousal violence were about 3 times more likely than males to report that they had been sexually assaulted, beaten, choked, or threatened with a gun or a knife by their partner or ex-partner in the previous 5 years. Now honestly, how could anyone consider the former statistic as anything politically relevant when it basically lumps strangling someone into the same category as throwing a fucking toothbrush? I mean, that sounds like something that you would argue. Oh, but it gets worse, folks. In this post right here, we see this motherfucker reposting a comment exchange with some guy on YouTube trying to explain to him the difference between the roles the sexes play in reproduction respectively, and he ends the segment with this bit right here. I also really love how abstinence is only a choice for men. Women are never told that if they don't want babies, they should close their legs. It's always men that have to keep it in their pants. Wow. Now that's powerful fail right there. I mean, haven't you ever noticed that in our society, promiscuous women tend to get called shit like sluts and whores? Meanwhile, guys we get laid a lot are referred to with the endearing term stud. Does that sound like being told to keep it in our pants? I mean, this is only one of the most well-recognized double standards in our culture, but of course, leave it to the fucking poster boy for MRA stupidity to just completely disregard it. So what are you gonna say in response to that, What are you gonna do? Call me a mangina?
Oh, I'm so scared.
You know, I've heard it said about you before that you have this habit of reposting conversations where you clearly look like a fucking idiot and claim that you are winning the argument. And after looking at this shit, boy, does that fucking bear out. And another thing I've noticed, both from watching my own comment exchanges with you and from watching you argue with others, is that people often end up repeatedly retreading over the same points that you either ignore or just plain fail to understand. Then when people begin to express frustration with this, you just pull out the butthurt card and declare victory. Patrick, I'm afraid there's a label for people who take that sort of approach. You are a textbook example of what is known as a fail troll. The thing that I just find infinitely hilarious about you, though, is the fact that you operate under this delusion that an approach taken by people who intentionally act like idiots for the purpose of wasting people's time makes you some badass champion of truth. Like, really, do you have any sense of yourself at all? I mean, let's take a look at this photo that you seem to love flashing around every opportunity you get. You wanna know why I use this photo as a means of mocking you? Just look at you! You look nervous as fucking hell! I can only imagine what you must have looked like when you walked up to introduce yourself to that chick.
Hello. My name's Philip.
This really does tend to raise a few eyebrows on all your videos and comments on YouTube, inflating yourself up as this uber macho notorious ladies man such as this one right here. Shanghai surprise, when a guy is having sex with a woman from behind and right before he's done he spits on her back so she thinks he's finished, and when she turns around he blows in her face. Surprise! I did the Shanghai surprise to my girlfriend once and she was not happy at all.
Now by she, do you mean he?
Seriously, Patrick, you make it way too easy for me. And yeah, I did just kind of implicitly accuse you of bestiality there, didn't I? But hey, at least I didn't accuse you of being a pedophile. That would have been a step too far, right? You know, I find it so funny how Ellen Coast got so butthurt over Boo Boo calling him a pedophile when she never even actually called him one. But even if she had, what the fuck difference would it make? I mean, people have been calling each other pedophiles on the internet so often for so long now that it's basically a fart in the wind at this point. It's as if Boo Boo called Elkie a motherfucker and he was all like, how dare you accuse me of incest? Fucking hell, dude. I mean, if someone called me a pedophile, I'd probably just sit there and go, oh yeah, well, you're a necro-pedophile. That's right. You like to have sex with dead kids. You're a disgusting freak. Why do you do that? Why do you go around raping dead kids? I mean, it's bad enough that they died so young, you can at least let them have some peace, but no!
Oh, you mean life keeps fucking you in the ass even after you're dead? Oh, never ends, it never ends!
But hey, if you're really so against people calling each other pedophiles, then why don't you go bug and mend them for a while? I would love to fucking see that. Oh wait, you did, didn't you? Yeah, you made another one of your fucking abysmal rap videos about Gary, and the only reaction you managed to get out of him was this little comment spat here. Now, Patrick, you're about as thick as a fucking pyramid, so you probably didn't catch how Gary basically made a complete ass out of you here, so let me break it down for you. You are not only ugly as an aardvark's ass, you're really dumb, too. But this was a nice tribute, so we will let your ignorance slide. To which you responded with, oh yeah, I'm honored. Welcome to the Shangi channel, you weak-ass bitch. And then you followed that up with, and who you calling anyway, sport? I guess you meant, and who you calling ugly anyway, sport, because the next sentence is, you look like you've been smacked around with the ugly stick enough times. Fuck, you look like a live-action Joe Camel. Now you gotta love those priorities, folks. I mean, Gary just basically tells Shangi that he's stupid and ugly, and the only thing that Shangi's interested in discussing are looks. Seriously, Patrick, what are you, a fucking valley girl? So in response to that comment, Mendham wrote, at least I look like something with a face, to which Shangi unwittingly replied, I'd hardly call what you got there a face, more like a reddish thing that makes noise. Yeah, I'm afraid that's not gonna work, Patrick, because you see, Mendham was referring back to his comment where he said you look like an aardvark's ass, which doesn't have a face. And you said that he looks like the live-action version of Joe Camel, which does have a face. So basically, you just fucking backpedaled there. So I guess you kind of failed with that one. But hey, Mendham isn't the only person on YouTube with a cartoonish tendency to overreact. You could try your luck with Coughlin. I mean, after all, he did just so happen to call Drinking with Bob a gay Muslim pedophile. And did I mention Vogter? Apparently he dated a 15-year-old girl a couple of years ago, and you seem to have a problem with that sort of thing, so maybe you could go try pestering him. Bear in mind, however, that in his country, the age of consent is actually 15, so it's kind of a complicated issue. But hey, I'm sure just thinking about it is giving you one epic outrage hard-on, or some kind of hard-on anyway. So why aren't you going after those guys? I mean, they seem worthy enough, and you got such big-ass balls, don't you? You've obviously never had any use for discretion. That much is obvious given your little incident on the C train. Oh yeah, that's right, we are going there, motherfucker. This post right here was made on the antimisandry.com forum. And the third paragraph here, Shangi writes, I've also been dealing with some legal issues since December 21st, 2009. I had gotten myself arrested over an unvalidated C train ticket while I was on my way to a job. Because of stupid decisions made by yours truly, I ended up facing 2 charges of resisting arrest and assaulting an officer. I got the assault charge withdrawn and I pleaded guilty to the resisting arrest. The judge threw me a bone and sentenced me to 6 months probation. After that's over and done with, I'll still have a clean record, so I'm pretty pleased with that. Really, dude? How do you go and resist arrest and assault a police officer and not have your basic survival instinct cut in just as you're about to do it and have your mind go, I am making a serious error? How fucking retarded are you? Seriously, get a vasectomy now! And as soon as that's taken care of, sign your power of attorney over to the least inbred member of your white trash, bumpkin-ass Canuck family before you wind up signing some legally binding organ donor agreement in some last-ditch effort to stay in some high-stakes poker game with some shady group of bent government-employed Canadian doctors and wind up losing a kidney, you stupid motherfucker! Wow, 6 months probation and a clean fucking record. You always seem to get off light somehow, don't you? That's probably why you seem to think you can get away with virtually anything over YouTube, because I see you making violent threats all over the fucking place. Don't think I haven't seen you and that little 8-bit retard going around talking about how you think you could supposedly fuck me up in a real-life fight. And apparently you pulled that same shit with Federalist Films as well. Though you did say in your Q&A video that you have no actual intention of fighting me. Well, I guess a broken clock is right twice a day, because if I ever saw you at my fucking doorstep, this is how I would kick your head in. Oh yeah, that's right, folks. And you know what? I can already hear the little fucker going, "Ooh, look at that! Clyde just threatened to fucking shoot me in the head! What a psycho!" Not so fast there, monkey boy. You see, folks, me and Rith are not the only ones that this clown has made violent threats against. Just listen to what this motherfucker once said to John Paul Doran. Yeah, let's play that fucking clip.
What are you gonna do, you little faggot? Are you gonna come down to Calgary and beat me up? I'd like to fucking see that, actually. I'd put you in a fucking neck brace.
Yep, there you have it, folks, a fucking neck brace. And I'm sure the PWNZ is probably sitting there going, "Hey, no fair! That's not as bad as you making a death threat to me!" Well, why not, motherfucker? I mean, they are both violent threats, and after all, according to your twisted logic, if two examples of wrongdoing just happen to be the same on their most general level, then the level of severity is fucking irrelevant, isn't it? And since we're already on the subject of John Paul Doran, why don't we once again, for old time's sake, address this retarded little contention that you have that what I did to him was absolutely no fucking different from what you did to Teresa. I mean, sure, okay, I picked a rather questionable way to troll a guy who, at the time, as far as I could tell, was doing nothing but trolling people.
So sue me!
But for you to try and argue that you digging up some old news article about a life-threatening accident involving Teresa's autistic son and going, "Ho ho, this'll make a swell ponage video, ho ho ho," and then accusing her of child neglect is in any way comparable to me bringing up what John's kid might possibly think of a video of his if she saw it one day when she was all grown up is fucking ridiculous. Period. End of discussion. It's just yet another one of your retarded comparisons, and it really strikes me as nothing more than a desperate attempt by you to try and dodge criticism at my fucking expense. Do you honestly think that if some news article came out about some near-fatal accident involving John Paul Doran's kid that me or anyone else who's ever had problems with John, including Baria Blast, would be sitting here on our webcams giggling about it? Nope. Sorry, dude, but only you have that much fucking hate in you. I mean, hell, you obviously hate women. That's just an objectively verifiable fact of reality. And I know that's what feminists say about all men's rights activists, but guess what? I'm not a fucking feminist. I'm sure some people are going to be very surprised to hear that, but I never said I was. So you really can't use that as an excuse with me, motherfucker. And besides, with you, it's just so fucking obvious. I don't know what the hell your fucking problem is. Maybe your mom was one of those freaks who breastfed you until you were like 5, and then when she finally came to her senses and cut you off, you started freaking out and she had to backhand you to keep you off her tit or something. And you were like, "Wah, I hate you, Mammy, I hate you." Oh, and I'll bet she fucking hates you too. You know, I wonder, does she know about what you do on here? If she doesn't, then I wonder what would happen if, say, hypothetically, that I was deviant enough to take a page out of Graham Tucker's book, which you seem to have no problem doing, and call your mom on the phone and tell her all about how you went and pulled up an article about an accident that nearly killed some woman's autistic son so that you could laugh at her and call her a neglectful parent. I wonder what she'd think. Yeah, don't worry, folks. I'm not gonna call Shangi's mom. I'm just kidding. I mean, that should probably go without saying, but even though I'm making that perfectly clear right here and now, I'm sure the PWNZ is still gonna go around sneering about how I've made yet another veiled threat anyway, so I might as well speculate further. Because, like, really, would anyone actually judge me for doing something like that? I mean, at least my motives would be somewhat noble, especially when you compare them to why this little shit does what he does. Some of you may remember a certain blog TV session back in August where Galen asked the PWNZ why he would reveal someone's real name in a video against that person's will, and he pretty much laid it out.
What's the objective you're taking? What's the objective here?
What would be the objective of putting somebody's name in a video?
Yeah.
Well, to watch them cry about it, that would be an objective.
Even to a guy like me, that's cold.
You know, what can I say? I guess you're just self-centered enough to believe that just because you apparently don't have any problem with people spreading your real name around, that it doesn't matter to you if anyone does have a problem with you doing it to them. And I already know what your little qualifier for this is, too. I think it goes something like, oh, Boo Boo put someone's IP address in a comment, yeah. Dude, I don't give a shit. There is a big difference between posting someone's IP in a comments section and then promptly deleting it and name-dropping someone in a fucking mirror bomb. I mean, never mind the fact that if your boss at your job were to look up your online activity and see your videos and what you've done, as many employers are doing these days, Patrick, you would get shit canned. Just look what happened to John the Other. And to think, his videos were fucking vanilla compared to yours. But hey, perhaps you'd like to add a pink slip to your ever-growing resume of fail. Let's recap it. Your videos consistently fail in everything they set out to accomplish, your political positions are a fucking joke, you talk like a cheap Canadian Batman knockoff, your fucking nose looks like something out of a 1930s Vienna newspaper's comic strip section, you're an embarrassment to Irish ancestry if I ever fucking saw one, you're completely oblivious to when people make you look like the mongoloid retard that you fucking are, and to top it all off, your questions bitch now possesses a video of you jacking off. And this coming after you made fun of Grey Tide Show on Encyclopedia Dramatica for the same fucking thing, which makes you a bigger hypocrite than I could ever dream of being if I fucking tried. I swear, there should be a fucking penalty for that level of hypocrisy. You should be forced to have a giant billboard erected over your fucking house with the word hypocrite in big flashing neon letters with a big Las Vegas style arrow pointing down at your fucking roof. I'll bet even if that happened, you'd probably stand there going, oh, the Bilderberg group is just spreading disinformation. Seriously, you are a pathetic piece of shit, Patrick John Doran. But you're never gonna see that, are you? Because I'm sure there will always be someone stupid enough to fucking validate you. And even if there isn't, I'm sure you'll just create a few more sock accounts to lick your own asshole with in comment sections while you delude yourself into thinking that you're actually fooling someone. But to any real human being who would actually support the TheFaggShangi, and yes, that includes you, exiled, you can go right ahead and give this special ed dropout the best rim job you can fucking muster. But just try not to look too surprised when he farts Big Boss Calvin's cum down your throat. This is LordClydeofOMAR, over and out, motherfuckers.